Hello and welcome to the first of several short tutorial videos which are aimed at assisting you to familiarise yourself with the estimating and taking off capabilities incorporated into Bluebeam Revu. My name is Rob. I'm currently working as a freelance QS and estimator, and I specialise mainly in the brickwork industry. I've been using Bluebeam software for a couple of years now, and to be honest, I rarely use anything else. I'm going to assume several things given that your search has led you here to these tutorials. Firstly, that you've been shown or heard from a colleague and are aware of Bluebeam and what it can do in terms of improving your workflow. Indeed, that's how I came to ditch the dim paper and the printed A1 drawings. I'll also assume that you have a basic understanding of quantity surveying and taking off of construction drawings, that you have a reasonable understanding of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, and that you are fairly computer literate. But despite all this, you may be slightly struggling in marrying all these skills together with the software's capabilities and then putting it into your day-to-day taking off processes and actually get it working for you in a useful way. It's fair to say Bluebeam does an awful lot, but we are concerned only with the measuring, estimating capabilities it has for now. No doubt if you've made it here, you've already had a crack at using it and have a raft of questions. So the aim is, in these short videos, I will walk you through step by step from inquiry stage to producing a final BQ or materials list you can send out in response to an inquiry. The first video will explain the workspace of the software, the layout and what each section does, and where everything you will initially need is to be found. Note that when you first run Bluebeam, if you've already got it set up, you will have gone through that process. You're presented with a choice of profiles, and as we are interested in the surveying and measurement features, you should have selected the quantity surveying profile, which gives you the software set up in a way that's optimum for you as a QS. So let's jump into the software. Maximize it so we've got it here. Right, I'm using Review Extreme, so some of the options may not be available to you if you're working in standard, but generally the principles are the same. So here we've got the layout or the workspace window. So this is the main central viewing workspace. This is where you will view your PDF drawings once you bring them in. So let's get one in here. I'm going to use this substructure drawing I've got here. Sometimes you get a pop-up window warning you about viewports that are these are embedded in PDFs. They're like layers of different patterns that are put over drawings and then flattened into the drawing. This one doesn't actually have any in, but you may see that. But just dismiss them to remove them because they can interfere with what you're doing. Once the drawing's in, you'll notice that all the icons and menu options are ungrayed and they become available for use. A wheeled mouse is pretty essential for Bluebeam, I find. And you need to also make sure that the drawing is zoomable in all directions by clicking on this icon here, this one full page icon. That allows it to scroll in and out, side to side. This will help immensely when we actually get to the measuring. Surrounding the workspace here are several panes which each have specific tasks, and then there's also the familiar top ribbon menu that I'll assume requires no explanation as it's very Windows-like. So over here on the left we've got the navigation pane. This keeps track of your marked up drawings and those which you are currently working on, and those that you've recently brought into the workspace. Also in this pane is the tool chest. It's obvious by its icon, and if you hover over it, it will say tool chest. The quantity surveying profile centers around the measurement option from the top menu, which you see by clicking on here. All the tools appear at the top here. We're in the tool chest already, so what you see here is that the tool chest and the measure tab at the top and the tool chest here are by default populated with standard tools that are length, area, poly measurement, or perimeter. Would be either or depending on your version of Revu. Area measurement, count, and so on. All the basics a QS will need. Poly length is new to 2017, is the same as perimeter, but has several slight improvements on the capabilities over perimeter, which I will explain as we start to use it. The pane over on the opposite right hand side over here contains controls and parameter switches that control how the tools do what they do and how they appear. This section also contains information on scales and units of measure, and again we will see how these come into use once we start measuring. You've got mainly the ruler and mainly the cog here that we're concerned with. You can see bits and pieces about scale, so on and so forth. At the bottom pane is almost like a spreadsheet, basically. This is where all the output that the measurement tools generate ends up. As you measure and take off, you will see this begin to populate with data. You may notice that this section is like, as I said, a custom spreadsheet, and essentially that's what it is. It's highly customizable, and is also where we get our takeoff data out of Bluebeam and into Excel. We shall come on to that in a minute. As you can see, each pane has a handle to allow it to be put away when not required, so you've got a better workspace. And most of the tools that you interface the window with are very similar to what you find in Adobe and Acrobat, like the hand, the pointer, the glass, all that kind of thing. At the very bottom there's a ribbon down there also as well, and you'll see that there's content, markup, grid, and it's a snap to menu. All straight away I would also always snap to content, snap to markup. Those of you who have used things like Fireworks or Photoshop or photo editing software will be familiar with the term snap to and what it does, but I'll come on to that when we start measuring. The screen is also surrounded with lots and lots of icons and toolbars all around the left, right, top, bottom. Eventually you'll get rid of most of these, but don't let them overwhelm you at this stage. The trick with Bluebeam is that there seems to be, or there is, several different ways to do the same thing, and that's what most of these things are there for. They're really just for convenience, but ignore them for now and don't let them overwhelm you, because most of these as a surveyor you're not going to use or need, and we can actually get rid of them eventually. One thing I would recommend highly is that you invest in a laptop that has the ability to extend to a second screen, and I would recommend also that you get that screen as big as you can get your hands on. It's very, very beneficial because you can work on one and have your files and spec and other stuff open on another. It's the way to go forward. So that's a basic intro to Bluebeam, so you're oriented with how the workspace works. In the next video I'm going to look at the tools and how to use them, and we'll see you in the next video.